Awesome, John. How's it going today?
Doing great, man. How you doing?
Going good. I appreciate you making a little bit of time, coming to speak about the new record, which is going to be dropping on February 21st on SCOUR Records. Obviously, a big time for any band, of course, when you're dropping an album. Talk to me about what's been happening lately in prep for the release.
Well, I'm gearing up to head to LA and do some videos for ESP Guitars. We got interviews all day and today and tomorrow and the next day. So we're kind of getting all that out of the way, and just we're just glad that it's coming out finally. We worked hard on it, so it'll be nice to get together this weekend in California and hang out and celebrate a little bit.
When it comes time to release the record, I'm talking maybe the first month out, before it comes out. Is there a lot of listening to the album that's happening, or by that point, have you guys listened to the album so much that you're sort of in a period of not doing that as much?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't listened to the record in a long time because, like you said, when you're mixing it, mastering it, you're hearing it so many times, and it really gets to the point where, oh, it's done, and you hear it a couple times when it's done, you're like, oh, great, and then you wait until the video comes out, and then you give it another listen. Or for me, it's we decided to add another new song to the set list coming up in a couple months. So I had to get back and listen to the bass lines. Luckily, Derek tabbed it out, and I could learn it that way and relearn it, and because I haven't played those songs in years. We recorded that 2 years ago, you know, the gold record, and it took that long to really get it completely together, mixed and mastered and ready to go.
So talk to me about that process. What was really behind the 2 year process for this record, and sort of how much of what we're going to hear is from that point, and then how much of it is more so recently recorded material?
Well, the whole record was recorded in January, and music wise, and then it was Phil's got to write the songs, write the lyrics, and then I came in to the studio with him. I'd say in November. Yeah, right after his haunted house, and we knocked it out in a couple weeks. He did the lyrics, and they were great. And so you really got to wait till the artists are done with their tracking
Yeah.
before you move on to any of the next steps, which is the mixing and mastering. And the guys in the band really took their time with this one, and made sure we all agreed that it was perfect.
Now, when it comes to the lyrical process, is that really Phil completely by himself? And maybe talk to us about what it's like while that's going down. Does he like to sort of lock himself away in a room and really be solitary, or is it more of a collaborative effort with the lyrics?
Well, it's all Phil, and
It's all Phil.
yeah, oh yeah, and it's really when he's ready and it starts flowing and he does it. That's when he does it. He doesn't. Uh, I guess he's got to be in the right mood, maybe. I don't know, but if we would say to him right after we recorded like, hey, you got to have those lyrics done in 2 weeks, he'd have been like, fuck you guys,
That's it.
you know, how about you guys go fuck yourselves. But no, he's cool. He We're just glad he's in the band, you know what I mean? So when he's ready to do it, he's ready to do it. And so that's, part of the process. And luckily, he wanted to do it. He could have said, hey, I don't want to make the gold record. I'd rather just do Pantera and thanks anyway, guys. Band's over, if he
Yeah.
wanted to. But yeah, we're proud and glad that he's still excited about SCOUR and still wants to do it. And so, yeah, we just kind of let him go with that. And he's knocked it out of the park every time. So he's blown me away, honestly, every time with it.
I love that. I mean, was that an actual conscious thought though for you guys? Because obviously in the last couple years, things have been crazy with Pantera, out on stadium tours with Metallica. I mean, was that even a conversation with you guys? Like, how are we going to make sure that, Pantera can have its life over here and we can keep Scour going at the same time? Or was it just a situation where you knew it was going to work because Phil had made his commitment and there wasn't really a conversation needed?
It's really that's what it was. It was Phil when he let us know that Pantera was reuniting. After the shock, we were just kind of like, wow, but what does this mean for everyone else? And he made it clear. He's like, this is going to be good for everyone. I love Scour. I need that part. I need that part of my life. I need the extreme music. And and so we were like, great, that's great to hear, because he, like I said earlier, he could have been like, you know what, I'm going to go tour Pantera around the world and play, sold out arenas every night. Sorry, guys, and we'd be like, cool, congratulations,
Right.
At least I would be, but luckily, like I said, he's still digging being a part of the small band, the small scene, the extreme metal scene. So
Yeah, and I mean that must be a hard thing to juggle because you guys all have backgrounds in different bands and different groups and at some times simultaneously at other moments focusing on particular projects. But I would imagine that it takes a certain level of mental commitment to really make that work. And it has to be a team effort, I would imagine as well.
right, and we have a few mottos in the band, and one of them is anything for Scour.
Mm.
Whatever it takes for Scour. And you know, for example, when I'm leaving this weekend, I'll be gone for a few days. Just to help promote. I'm doing that for Scour. Because I love being a part of the band. I could just be like, yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to get on a plane. But it's cool that we're able to do that type of stuff, and I enjoy it. And even from doing these interviews is fun. And helping promote, letting people know about the band. There's a lot of people that still haven't heard about Scour.
Definitely. I mean, what is it about the group that you guys that makes you guys love it so much? Because again, so much, wealth of different musical experience in this band all sort of colliding together. Um, is that a big part of it, John? The fact that you guys all have such a wealth of experience that you can maybe draw from different parts of that to make this group the ideal experience?
Yeah, it's really that we've been jamming together for 20, 25, 30 years, some of us. Adam and I have really been jamming our whole lives together.
Yeah,
So there's times when me and him are looking at each other, it's just like, I can't believe we've been doing this for 40 years, or,
seriously.
uh, when he was like 8 years old, we were jamming, you know.
Wow.
But, and, when we came up in the same scene in St. Louis, uh, Mark and Derek's band was really good, and we would do a lot of shows together. We were fans of each other's bands, and I remember specifically one night with Derek, we are partying somewhere, and uh, we're outside talking, and we knew we were both very serious about our bands. The rest of our band, people in our band, were serious too, but we were very serious about it.
Yeah, you guys were lifers kind of thing already.
Right? Yeah, we knew that. We said we're going to be touring the world with each other, whether it's all will fall and cast a stone, which we were thought at the time, or we just knew it would happen one way or another. And so when we got the band together, that was really the like, hey, let's get some dudes that we actually like to hang out with first. Let's not worry about anything but, hey, I want to go to Europe with these guys and have a good time. And that's really how Scour started, because we were on tour kind of, we're having a great time on tour, but it was kind of like some of the people on tour were not having a great time.
Mm, right.
And we were just kind of like, yeah, we don't want to be those guys. We don't want to grow up and be like those guys, you
Yeah,
know?
for sure. That would affect the whole, I would imagine the experience for everybody.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Bringing it, having someone bummed out on a tour is never fun. It's like,
Yeah.
but it happens, whatever. But yeah, the thing with Scour is we all enjoy hanging out together. Like when we get together, it's usually end up doing like a boat trip or something. Like we'll be on the ocean hanging out. We'll go on it. We'll go to an amusement park. We just do cool stuff in our spare time instead of some of my bands were just like, let's just go to the hotel room, let's go to the show and go back to the hotel room and then
Right.
fly back home. Like I never liked that type of stuff. You know, I would always want to stay a couple extra days, and I would a lot of times and say, hey, you guys need to rush home to your families. That's great. See ya. I'm going to
I'm
stick
gonna
around a
stay.
couple days, and then I will fly home in a couple days when I've
Yeah.
had my fun. I don't want to fly to Europe just for one show for one day and leave, and come back. Ugh, sounds miserable to me. Much rather hang out for a few days or even a week. You know.
Yeah, I think it sounds terrible too when people make touring into work. I mean, traveling the world into work. Does that help you keep the sense of adventure with what you do, and which I would imagine, lends to it, staying fresh and staying fun every time?
Well, that's the thing. You can't get jaded about it. And I've seen so many people that they're just miserable when it's time to travel and get on a plane. And it's just like, you know, I remember when I've never been on a plane, it's
Yeah,
so cool. And on my first flight, I'm like, I'm flying to LA. This is so cool. I never thought that I'd get paid to do it. And basically that's what's happening when you're in a band. You're getting paid to get on these planes and fly and instead of paying to do it. And that's really cool if you enjoy traveling like I do. That's really the dream. It's like I get to go see London, but I'm getting paid a bunch of money to do it, and I get to
yeah,
jam out when I get there. It's great.
pretty good deal.
Why? And I'd see members of the band that are just they're at the plane, and it's just like, why are you doing this? And a lot of them have been out of the scene. So, it's like they just can't. Some people just can't handle it. It's too much stress, I guess, or I mean, flying is stressful. It is very
Hmm.
stressful, but it's not like we're flying there to do like to build a house or something. We're flying there to jam,
Yeah,
you
and
know?
it's not like you're stuck in a bus still either. I mean, some guys can't even fly.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I've been very lucky, to say the least, to be able to travel around and to play music and get paid to do it. It's great.
Does it ever get to a point though, John, where it's an overload? And I do think of what we were talking about a minute ago when the Pantera tour was going on. You guys were keeping things going with Phil, and he was wearing both of those hats in two bands. Do you ever worry that it can become too much? And how do you guys again sort of retain that element of just rolling with the punches, no matter what's happening around you?
Well, it's not easy, but it's you know, with Phil, it's we kind of know his schedule well in advance, and he knows his schedule, and he'll let us know. He doesn't like hide things from us. He'll be like, hey, listen, I'm gonna be real busy next year. I'll find some places in between for Scour, and he has. We're playing the Milwaukee Metal Fest, and it's great. And so he knows. I think next year might be a little lighter from playing like it might take a little break or so, next year. That gives time for his other projects like Down and Scour to hopefully do something cool. So he lets us know in advance, and you know, I just love Pantera so much that I'm just like, I hope Pantera never stops playing.
Yeah,
It's just so cool, and I don't think they plan to stop playing. I think it's just this year is going to be real busy for them, so
yeah.
we just got to deal with it, and I'm proud of them. I'm glad that they.
That's okay. What
Yeah.
was your first reaction when you found out that the reunion was going to happen with Pantera? And what do you remember about Phil's reaction around that time when he officially got the okay?
Well, I remember when he told me, he kind of made me guess. He didn't really tell me. He was like, something big's coming up. And I'm like, yeah, what? what are you doing? Is it uh, a band with Tony Iommi or something? What are you doing? And he goes, well, it's going to be bigger than Down. And I was like, whoa, okay. It kind of narrows things down a lot because Down's a pretty big deal. And then I said, are you really, is it going to happen? Like you're getting the band back together? And he kind of started knocking like ding, 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 like and then he's like, but who's on drums? And I took two guesses before it was Charlie Benante. And he was like, you're right. And he's like, who's on guitar? I said, it's got to be Zach. Why? He's like, you're right. I'm like,
You got it right away.
oh, yeah. Took two guesses for drummer and first guitar guess.
Who was your other guest for the drummer?
Gene Hoglan.
Okay,
I thought
okay,
maybe
pretty good
Mean
guess.
Gene because he toured with them and played with multiple bands and he could pull it off. Hey,
And
it's
what are
not
your
easy to
thoughts
play
on it?
Vinny. What do you mean?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on how those guys have stepped into those roles? Like, obviously, they were some of the first picks in your mind. Do you feel like they lived up to those
They
expectations?
blew it away. I mean, I saw the first show. I saw some of the rehearsals, of course, but I saw the first show in Mexico City, and I remember. I mean, I watched from the side of the stage. I thought I heard one mess up the entire set,
Wow.
and because after the show, Phil was like, "How did those guys?" Like, man. I was like, "Charlie was amazing on drums." I mean, I heard one little slip up, and he goes, "He just told me you messed up twice." Well, I didn't even hear the other mess up.
I heard one.
I only heard one of the two. But that's how tight it was from the first show. And since then, it's got way tighter. As any band keeps playing together, it tightens up. And I think that you can't really top what they're doing. I mean, it's the perfect tribute to Pantera. It's just it's I said they're the most badass band on the planet. And when you're watching them live, you're like, this is badass. There's just
Yeah.
no way around it.
No,
And
for sure.
they got a perfect set list too, so it's really cool.
Yeah, the set list was great. I mean, speaking as a guy who never was really around when Pantera was really a thing, I got to see them last year as well, and just the heaviness, and it really felt like this is what my generation was missing when it comes to metal, and that we were given that. It felt like such a big deal. So you guys got to perform a couple shows with Pantera, or was it on the same bill? How did that work exactly?
Yeah, Nest, my band Nest, played 6 shows on the tour with Lamb of God and Pantera. So yeah, it was six
Amazing.
arenas, and it was a crazy 2 weeks. It was over a span of 2 weeks, and in between the days off, we would do shows in small cities along the way. So we didn't take any days off. So at the end of those
Wow.
2 weeks, it was pretty. I was like, because we didn't bring any crew, no sound guy, no merch guy,
Really?
no driver. It was just the three of us in the band, in the van, and with the gear. That's it. And every time, some of the venues were like, "Where's your sound guy?
Yeah.
Where's your merch guy?" Like, that's me. Yeah, we're all the above.
Was this in
Well,
America?
yeah, yeah. We did a couple. Started in Florida and moved away through all the way to Missouri.
Wow. How did you guys pull that off with no crew, with no support?
Well, I got a hookup with hotels. Hilton. I used to work for Hilton, and one of the general managers of one of the hotels is a fan of Nest, and luckily got me on his friends and family deal where I get a nice discount on hotel rooms.
Nice.
So and Phil was nice enough to let me borrow. He's got a really nice van, and just let us borrow the van, so we didn't have to rent a van or pull our trailer. And the hotels were so cheap that we really only had to make a couple $100 every night to break even.
Nice.
Which, if you're on tour, that's like we only got to hit $200 tonight, guys, and everything else is payout. It's like that's a good feeling.
Yeah.
And luckily we're doing really good on the arena shows, of course. And so it was really a great 2 weeks of touring. It was just not a lot of sleep because you have to load in at noon for the arena shows.
Right.
So normally you're loading at 5, 6, whatever. You can kind of drive throughout the day, but for these gigs, we had to wake up and go every morning. But it
Man,
was well worth it.
sounds like it was a great time though.
Oh, it was the best time. Some of these, I was actually just looking at this gift we got from Nashville. Some of the people that work at these arenas have been there working there for 20, 30 years.
Wow.
They're just really nice people, and I even got some phone numbers of some of them. They're like, stay in touch, you come back in town, hit me up. Like nice, really nice. And the Nashville arena people were just so incredibly nice. It's hard to explain like how much they go out of the way to make sure you're having a good time. It's like
Yeah,
we had our own room, we had our own backstage with a fridge with anything we wanted. And
amazing.
they'd still come in and be like, do you guys need anything? You're like, be like, we could use some weed. And they
Yeah.
would go get us some weed. Like, and then like, I'd be like, thank you. And it's like,
Like, let
what
us
else?
come up with something if you're asking.
Like, yeah, like, do we need socks or underwear? What do we need, guy? Like, it's kind of what it came down to, which is really kind of what you dream of when you're in a band.
That is so amazing. Sounds like the best time. Now,
Yeah.
in terms of some other groups that you're into, I understand that you're a fan of Kiss. Is that correct?
A huge fan, yes.
You are. Okay. So now I had to ask you this because a lot of my core audience is huge Kiss fans as well. What would you say is the greatest guitar era of Kiss and why? I know
Well,
it's tough. There's a lot of them.
I would, of course, go to the early Ace Frehley days, and
The early Ace. Okay. Yeah. Not that's
yeah.
not competing with the Revenge era. Bruce
Well,
Kulick.
that was killer, of course, when they got heavy and dark during that era. It was really cool, and of course, he could rip. No hate on Bruce. Even
Mm-hmm.
like, was it Alive 3 was great. So it's a Vinnie Vincent era was killer. You
Mm-hmm.
can it's it's hard to pick, and the new guy does a great job. Tommy, or the newest,
Right.
but always the classic Ace early days. That's the stuff that I listened to growing up. That's the stuff I learned to play on guitar. Like I would learn his solos all the way through.
Right. Definitely. I
I
mean,
don't think I
would you
can play a
say
Bruce solo all the way through. He's too
there you
good.
go. Those are tough for sure. I mean, it feels like Ace was just, simple enough, but also just complex enough that it could really connect with everybody from a beginner guitar player to, the virtuosos of the world. Did you really feel that accessibility when listening to Ace in the beginning?
Yeah, he played what was right for the song. He played the perfect. Same with Paul. And Gene. Don't even get me started on his bass lines being perfect for the song. He's one of my favorite bass players. He
Underrated bass player.
extremely underrated. One of the
Yeah.
best. He, if you just listen, pop in a Kiss record, just listen to the bass, the whole record, you're going to be like, wow. Just listen how creative and catchy he is. Just genius.
Yeah.
I got a
Now,
quick. Can I tell a quick Kiss
please.
story? So when they retired, they sold a lot of their gear to Pantera.
Oh, wow.
So they had the same management, Doc McGee. So Doc, I guess, facilitated this whole deal. I don't know who did it, but anyway, they ended up with buying 10 Randall guitar cabs from Paul Stanley,
Oh,
and the ones that Zach Wilde has been using on stage, the outer casings were from Kiss, but
really?
they gutted the speakers of some of them, and they are now in my guitar cabinets. So I have
Wow.
Paul Stanley used vintage Celestion greenbacks in two of my guitar cabs. So I got 8 Paul Stanley
Wow.
used. So and when he was putting them in, Eddie, who was the sound guy for Pantera, and he did Stone Temple Pilots and Korn, and really great dude. He's installing these speakers for me, and he pulled out a piece of confetti. He's like, "Oh, from Rock and Roll All Night," and they drop the confetti. He's like, "Here, take this," and I said, "You put that right back in that speaker." So the Kiss confetti is still inside the speaker.
Oh my gosh, that is a classic. See, people are gonna love that story. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
That is
love Kiss.
incredible. So how about this? We see Kiss having quote unquote retired, but it seems like they're coming back and they're of course doing their virtual Kiss avatars to where they never will actually retire. As a longtime fan, what are your thoughts on that concept? And furthermore, do you feel like there's a time where every band should just finally call it a quits entirely, or do you think there's room for a never-ending band that maybe never hangs it up?
Well, I mean, they've pushed it pretty far, and because all the makeup and the outfits weigh a lot, and it just watching Paul dance around. Like if I did that for an hour like he does, I would be out of shape and just ready to die. So it gets to the point where I guess your body just can't handle it. You know, so I mean, Aerosmith is just getting too old. That's just the way it is. Ozzy's just getting too old. Sadly, he can't tour. He's just too old. So it's age catches up with everyone. You know, but will the Avatar thing work? I don't know. If any band can pull it off, it's them. But I really like the idea of other people jumping in, like some young Star Child, and then the young, Catman, and then the young Demon, and have some new young band be Kiss and continue it on that way. I'd almost rather it be like that. But I understand that. I mean, you've seen how much they toured over the last 10, 20 years. You
Hmm.
know, they've been to your city. If they haven't, they've been to somewhere nearby. They've toured
Oh yeah,
relentlessly. So I saw them probably 4 or 5 times on the final tour.
nice.
You know,
I caught it twice.
yeah, one of the greatest bands live ever. You can't beat them. But yeah, I don't know about this whole Avatar thing.
I guess time will tell, right? I mean, for
Yeah,
me, it's like at least they're at the forefront of something that if it becomes a big thing, they will be leaders in that space. So for me, that's the exciting part. If it doesn't work, they also don't really have much to lose at this point, right?
right. Yeah, yep, yeah. They'll continue on one way or that. I mean, I can see Kiss plays the Super Bowl or so. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
They'll reunite somehow, some way. It's never. There's one band that's never really going to retire.
It's
It's
Kiss,
Kiss. It's
definitely.
yeah, yeah,
Now, obviously, the new record is going to be dropping on February 21st. I did get the advance copy. I've been enjoying the hell out of it. How can you prepare people for this level of heavy coming on the new SCOUR record? I think they have a lot to be excited about here.
yeah. It's not going to be for everybody. It's for the extreme metal crowd. It's fast, heavy. It's blast beats and double bass pedal on the drums, and it's super fast guitars and low, heavy vocals. So it's your average Pantera fan that might be too extreme for them, and that's okay.
Hmm.
But you know, uh, it's really we pushed ourselves to like as far as we can really go on this one. It really we said we pretty much took the drummer and was like, "All right, can you go this fast?"
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's
you
see how far
can.
you can go.
You can. Okay, so can you go this fast? It's like, oh, you can. All right, and then we're like, let's see if he can go this fast, and he's like, all right, that's too much,
It's fast enough.
and we're like, all right, well, that's going to be how fast it is. So we kind of just pushed it to the limit on this one, and to all of us, there's parts where my right hand is just going so fast, like I can't even believe I'm playing this fast. This is crazy. But it's some of the fastest, most extreme music I've been a part of for sure. And yeah, I'm proud to be a part of it, man. It's fun, but this record it came together so nicely, and I'm sure you maybe caught some of the interludes we had in there. They were
Hmm.
fun to work on with Phil because Phil had this vision for these samples, and we kind of, when I was doing his vocals, we'd kind of get bored. We'd start working on one of the samples.
Right.
So, and at one point, it was pouring down rain. He was like, we could use some rain in this,
Mm.
the end of this. And so I took my phone down under this thing and recorded the rain that came down right as we were recording that track, and popped it right in. He's like, it's perfect. It's like,
Amazing.
little stuff like that just kind of happened as we were working on it. But yeah, we had a blast, and it's great. It'll be great to actually listen to it again. Like, I haven't really checked it out in a while.
Yeah, now that some time has passed, you'll be able to enjoy it like everybody else again.
Exactly.
Very exciting. So for everybody out there listening, make sure to go and check out the brand new record once it drops. We're going to have all the links down below in the description, and that is going to be coming out, of course, on the 21st of February. And John, thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and I'm looking forward to all the listeners getting the record. I know they're going to love it.